Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you that vulgar display of logic and reason that you have come to expect on a daily basis. Today, I'm going to show you some things that you've probably already seen before, but I bet you didn't put them together and realize that they were done at the hands of the exact same person. First of all, remember this?
Bob and Ashley, you can see it's still a mangled mess behind me. That truck just sinking deeper and deeper into the river. They obviously haven't been able to get it out, and it's been something that people have been coming all day to check out because obviously it's not something that you see every day. Now, one of the biggest things that it's going to affect is people who use this to go back and forth. It's going to take about an extra 15 minutes because they're going to have to take a circuitous route around to be able to do that. So that's going to be a little bit of issue for some of the people who live here.
He had to be crazy.
Ray Robinson lives on Dale Bend Road. He says they get a lot of wild traffic at night, but nothing like this.
He got a mess to clean up.
Wednesday night, a driver in an 18-wheeler attempted to cross the Dale Bend River Bridge while following his GPS, but the bridge couldn't hold the weight, collapsing.
We're very fortunate that it didn't go underwater and the gentleman was able to get out of the vehicle without any injury.
The driver called 911, who got in contact with Jeff Gilkey, director of Yell County Office of Emergency Management.
I contacted dispatch again and said, tell me one more time what you said.
Gilkey says this is the first big rig that's tried to cross the bridge, and he hopes it will be the last.
6-ton weight limit for a semi, and the truck was 64,000 pounds over that weight limit.
Gilkey says the out-of-state driver was cited, and the county is working with the trucking company on how to get the semi untangled from the bridge and out of the water.
We know it's going to be a long process to get it out. Hopefully, within a week or so, we can have the truck out and start making plans for a new bridge.
They just had to go to lifting and pulling. Too big a truck.
Okay, so I'm going to step out of the way real quick so we can zoom in on the truck a little bit. Obviously, you can see that it's continued to sink into the river. They anticipate it'll be about a week before they're actually able to get it out. Thankfully, the driver, this wasn't this deep in when he was in it last night because the cab is entirely submerged. So they say about a week until the truck is out, and they say that it's going to take closer to a year before this bridge is actually replaced.
And more recently and sadly, this. What do you think those two events had in common, other than the fact that they involved 18-wheelers? This might blow your mind. The exact same driver was driving both times. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story of reckless driving. It's a national scandal that's costing American lives left and right, livelihoods, and even billions in damages. In the shadows of our interstate system, a surge of unqualified, often undocumented foreign nationals are slipping behind the wheels of massive 80,000-pound semi-trucks, exploiting loopholes in federal regulations to wreak havoc on our highways. From fatal pileups to economic sabotage, this is not about immigration. It's about freaking safety, accountability, and a broken system that's failing every driver on the road who risked putting their families out there while these undocumented drivers roam our streets and kill people. That Florida Turnpike tragedy was kind of a wake-up call. It's a catastrophic crash on Florida's Turnpike, claiming 3 innocent lives, all because one man's illegal maneuver. Harjinder Singh is our villain here, an undocumented immigrant from India who crossed into the U.S. illegally in 2018. He was the driver of that truck making an illegal U-turn, holding a commercial driver's license issued in California, even though he was an illegal alien, a sanctuary state, of course, notorious for very lax vetting. He attempted that unauthorized U-turn, blocking lanes and forcing the deadly collision. Now, Florida Highway Patrol did arrest him on charges of vehicular homicide and negligent manslaughter, and he's now facing deportation. Now he's facing deportation. Now, after this, after the collapsed bridge. But friends, this is not an isolated accident. I see this as a symptom of a deeper crisis where non-citizens with dubious credentials are handed the keys to potential weapons on wheels like these 18-wheelers. Now, we can usually tie tragedies to people allowing illegal aliens to not only enter the country illegally, but to also function illegally too, giving them cover and letting them do their thing. There's a huge, let's just say, underground type network of what's going on right now where people are using either forgotten names, undisclosed names, fake company names, leaving out a first name, leaving out a last name in the state of California, but still being issued their CDLs regardless of that. So it's essentially, you can fill in whatever blanks you want to fill in California. You're still going to get the CDL. And oh, by the way, you need to speak English? That's optional. At the heart of this mess is a web of regulatory failures and outright fraud. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, oversees trucking, but critics argue it's asleep at the wheel. Since changes in 2019 pushed by lobbying groups like the American Trucking Association, non-domicile CDLs, special licenses for non-citizens without permanent U.S. residency, have exploded. These are handed out to asylum seekers, visa holders, and other via programs that bypass rigorous vetting, including full English literacy requirements. Yeah, speak the language, read the signs, not important. Now, whistleblowers from groups like American Truckers United reveal that there's a shocking ecosystem that sits out there, that festers. Shell companies register fleets using placeholder names like No Name Given to dodge FMCSA, duplicate checks, often at shared apartment complexes and addresses in California. These operations hire undocumented drivers from countries like India, Somalia, Eastern Europe, and rack up violations, but evade accountability by shutting down and reopening under new USDOT numbers known as chameleon carriers. There's estimates out there that suggest over 60,000 such CDLs are in circulation right now. Now, the fraud doesn't stop there. DMV employees have been caught selling CDLs to unqualified foreigners, and counterfeit documents are rampant. A recent ICE arrest this month nabbed a suspect peddling fake IDs for gig drivers. Imagine that scaled up to trucking. The result, a 79% surge in fatal 18-wheeler crashes since FMCSA eased English enforcement around 2010 to 2020 per industry advocates. The FMCSA's own data shows 5,375 large trucks involved in fatal crashes in 2023 alone, up 43% over a decade, though they didn't break it down by driver status. That was convenient, right? We know the answer. Now, this is not a theory. Earlier this month, a migrant driver plowed into 17 vehicles on I-35 in Texas, killing 5, including a child and an infant. The culprit, another non-citizen with a non-domicile CDL and minimal English-speaking skills. In Arizona, locals report most I-10 wrecks west of Phoenix trace back to undocumented drivers who ignore signs or lack basic skills of comprehending or reading those very signs. These drivers often work for ghost fleets dispatched from overseas, hacking electronic logs to exceed hours of service limits and operating without insurance, naturally. When they crash, victims get nothing. Companies vanish overnight. FMCSA studies confirm driver behavior causes most crashes, but with unvetted foreigners flooding the market, the risk multiplies exponentially. There is a bigger picture, though. Beyond the body count, this crisis is gutting American jobs. There's no driver shortage. Over 500,000 CDLs are issued annually, but cheap foreign labor dumps wages, pushing U.S. truckers out of the jobs for these CDLs and for these trucking jobs. This is a race to the bottom, fueled by Biden-era parole programs that fast-tracked these work permits for these, quote, migrants. National security? Forget about it. These rigs could be used for terrorism or organized crime, hauling anything from stolen cargo to frickin' bombs that would level 10-story buildings. Friends, this isn't necessarily about borders, even though it certainly involves borders. It's about safety. Whenever we pile our family into a vehicle, our biggest responsibility, our commitment to our family's own safety, and quite frankly, to those of everybody else on the highway, is that we need to and want to, in most cases, I do believe this, conduct ourselves in a very safe manner on the highways. Part of that is we, as youngsters, go through driver's ed, We go through tons of different things that tell us what we should do, what we shouldn't do on our highways. This might be knowing what a double line is, a dash line on a highway, what a yellow line is, what a white line is, plus being able to read the words on a sign, super helpful when you're trying to keep your family alive. But if other people hauling 80,000 pounds worth of vehicle and supplies, whatever they're carrying, if they're not doing the same things and just coming over here uneducated, likely not very smart at that also, and just rolling in here, don't understand what the yellow line, the red line, the white line, anything like that means, they're winging it. They're simply winging it. This person that crossed this median doing this illegal U-turn, did they even know they were committing an illegal U-turn? I mean, whenever this guy ran across this bridge, telling him that it was only a 6-ton total weight distribution, as you saw in the video, he was 64,000 pounds overweight. This dude was 32 tons over the weight of what he should have been carrying to go over that bridge. If he could read English, if he knew what that sign meant, he wouldn't have driven across that bridge. That's jeopardizing his own safety. He's risking his own life to drive across a bridge when he knows that his load is 64,000 pounds heavier than what that bridge can hold. He crossed it because he couldn't read the sign or he didn't understand what the sign meant. Same with the illegal U-turn. My guess is, same guy that collapsed the bridge, maybe he did not see that it said authorized use only, or to know that U-turns were illegal, right? He wasn't supposed to do that by law. And I can't get over the fact that I try not to read too much into some of this stuff, because sometimes, especially with people having poor social skills as life goes on, or I'm not picking on people, I mean, people do, as we evolve, if you want to call it that, maybe we're devolve, social skills and self-awareness is a lost skill. So the look on this guy's face after he creates and causes this crash that took the lives of 3 innocent people, stone cold look. Now, I'm not saying he meant to kill those people. What I'm saying is the lack of remorse tells me that we have an IQ issue with this person. He likely understands a lot less than what a sign telling him that the bridge can handle 6 tons or less, right? He's probably not really all there. But he's behind the wheel of an 80,000 pound vehicle because the state of California let him have a driver's license, not being able to read English, and not being properly trained on the laws and the rules of our highway system in the United States. Now, the guy was, get this, tell me this is not an admission of guilt, or at least understanding that you're in it, right? He killed these people in Florida. A few days later, he's back in California. They arrested him in California, is where they actually picked him up at, and supposedly he's going to be deported, as I stated earlier. Too little, too late, right? I mean, the people who allowed this to happen, yes, he's the reason this happened. There's no doubt about it. And the allowance of illegal aliens to just roam free in this country is what let it happen even more, like allowed it to happen, took down all the barriers that had been there to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. So every barrier that's intended to prevent this kind of stuff was removed, the illegal alien thing and allowing him to drive. But the very fact that this dude right here is now going to be deported tells me that we're like, uh-oh, but nobody's held accountable. State of California letting him come in, state of California giving him that CDL, nobody's going to be held to account. This will be on the news for 1 or 2 days, and then it's gone. Meanwhile, these families, there's 3 families who lost 3 people in this vehicle in Florida. You know what they get? Nothing. You know, based on the fraud of these flimsy companies that are being set up with these 18-wheelers, they may not have been properly insured or insured at all. So the families may get 0. Families may be responsible for burying their own dead at this point as far as the cost goes, because they may not get anything. And I say may not, I don't know. I'm just saying the track record leading up to this shows that these types of situations are done on purpose. They're purposely not insuring because they can't get insurance in most cases for some of these illegal alien drivers out there. So they create these shell companies and they fake insurance certificates so they can at least get the truck on the road and make the money for these shipments. So we are left footing the bill. The victims are left footing the bill. This is a scary situation. This is one of those things that I'm already, and you guys are probably the same way, I'm already very critical of other drivers out there. We have horrible drivers on these streets in America who know the rules and who can speak English. Imagine the people who don't know the rules and can't speak English being that bad and being on the road. It's a scary situation. I mean, I already try not to go into big cities when I can help it, but I certainly now hesitate. We have two interstates running through town. One's a loop and one's the main interstate, I-10, that runs through here. Now I hesitate if I even want to get on there, because when I see these big trucks now, in many cases, looking at the numbers I just shared with you, you have to assume there's a large percentage of those trucks who have unqualified people and undocumented people who are behind the wheel. And that's a scary situation, knowing that they are what? Moving the weight of 80,000 pounds versus our little old vehicles on the road. Be safe out there, folks. Guys, if you don't mind, please share the video, like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Comment down in the comment section down below your thoughts on this. I'm curious what you guys think of this. Is it okay for us to have, I think I know most of your thoughts on illegal aliens, but is it okay to have people who aren't qualified to get behind the wheels of these big rigs? Would you want them driving a taxi, let alone an 80,000 pound vehicle on our streets? Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's hanging around.